Ballon'Dor chat. Got on here.
Yeah.
Messi or Haaland? World Cup or 52 goals?
Well, it's Haaland for me.
Justify.
He broke so many records and, you know, everyone always had this thing. We had it with Pep when you come to England. Yeah, you've done all right in other leagues, but can you cut it? It's that old Stoke on a Tuesday night. And Haaland just did it after sort of a debut that was written about hysterically in the Community Shield when he missed that chance. And some of the coverage around it was just like, do we maybe want to give a bit of perspective to this? And then very soon he made all that coverage look incredibly daft. And he's just forced us to rethink like what expectations should be for a striker, and has literally changed English football with the way that he plays. And you sort of see it in the way teams set up, in that, you know, they're either so obsessed with marking him that it frees up someone else, or they just can't keep a handle on him. And he scores. He scored kind of every different kind of goal during his season. Like, not too many spectacular ones, but the ones that were really very good.
I think he's going to miss out, isn't he?
I think he is, yeah. I wrote about it recently, and it's kind of like he's had like the best season you could imagine for a club, and is one of the best players in the world, but he's up against the greatest player ever who's won the greatest prize ever. And the World Cup still holds kind of huge... Yeah, especially for Ballon. Whenever there's kind of a World Cup, you think, well, the prize will probably go to somebody who's won the World Cup, and especially when it's Messi.
The whole thing evidenced in Ronaldo a couple of years ago, was the Euro win, wasn't it, with Portugal? Yeah. It was like, he's won the Euro, so he has to get it.
Yeah. And these kind of players are seen as like dragging their teams to the win, and Messi certainly did. I suppose on the flip side, there's no one really talking about Mbappe to win it, and he had a phenomenal World Cup as well.
It does seem like the team accolade comes a bit above like individual prowess, doesn't it, really?
It's one of them. It's what you're up against on the year, because, like, you know, Haaland could probably have a worse year this year and win it next year, because he won't be up against someone who's won a World Cup and someone who is Messi who's won a World Cup. So it will feel, you know, he might be a little frustrated that he doesn't win it if he doesn't win it. But if he plays like he is, he will have many more opportunities to win it. And maybe in 10 years' time or 12 years' time, he might have got Norway to the semi-finals or something and not have had a great year, but done that, and that clout sort of means that he wins one where some up-and-comer does not. So
I guess it's still like, the criteria for it's still a bit vague, isn't it? It's still ambiguous. It's like, is the Ballon d'Or the best footballer in the world? Because then, as you've just illustrated, and I would also agree, it's Messi. Yeah. But if you're looking on the last year what Haaland has done in the last year.
And I also should have done more research, but I don't know when it's voted for. Because again, kind of like a Messi who's doing basically nothing at PSG is very different to a Messi who clips from MLS are going around the world like every 2 days about him
40 goals and
scoring brilliant goals. So it's kind of like, you know, the hype around Messi at the minute is much, much bigger than it was when he was at PSG.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's a good point, actually, yeah. It was a bit vacant there, wasn't it? But when it's gone the MLS now, and that's obviously the World Cup, but...